Okay, welcome to this screencast from CELTI Learning, and we're going to look at how to create a helpful menu. So how to help your students find the content, the resources, the activities that you want them to find more easily. So first of all, we're going to go into an example module, and this is an example of how not to design a module. And it's something that comes through sometimes with student feedback on surveys, is that they find things quite difficult to find within WebLearn sometimes, and they don't really understand how content is laid out, where they can find things easily, and also what to do with some of the content that tutors put into their modules. So if we look at this example, you remember in the previous screencast we looked at the entry point, and here's an example of a kind of bad entry point in that it doesn't really tell you what the module is, who's on it, who's teaching it, or give you any indication as to what you're supposed to do with it. So that's an example of a pretty bad entry point. Now we're looking at the menu. So the menu here is, if you think about it in terms of what your student sees, this is their main access point into the content. So this needs to be really clearly laid out and really logical. So try to always think of what you're doing on your menu. Try to always think of it through the student's eyes. So what do they see there? Is it easy? Is it clear? And if we take a few examples of some of the things sometimes people do just because they don't have time or they don't realize that the impact on the student. Something like, for example, click into a content area and you'll find template with actually nothing in it. So this may be a relic of a kind of template which was created by the faculty, for example, with ideas on how to lay out content, in this case using a content folder. But this really doesn't help the student in any way. From a student's point of view, all this means is that the lecturer or tutor hasn't bothered to actually hide or delete this or to add any content. Here's another example. There's a reading. It doesn't tell you what it is, it just says reading, and with no information to describe content, it's really hard for students to actually find things and to come back to things later on and so on. If we look at another example, we've got, for example, assignments. So someone's created an assignment, but it's just called assignment. Really, again, this is not helpful, and once you start building up more than one assignment, this kind of thing can be very difficult for the student to get their heads around. We're in edit mode off at the moment. If I switch it on, you can see actually this menu, I've created a few examples on the menu of how you can organize content. So it's really up to you how you choose to organize your content. Again, your faculty may have some guidelines. You can do it by week, so you can create areas for example, week 1 to 5, week 6 to 10, weeks 11 to 15. With the 30-week modules now, it's really probably not a good idea to put a separate content area for each week, because then if you think about it, you're going to end up with 30 weeks on your menu, which makes the menu very long and means that students have to scroll down a long way to find content for the later weeks in the year. Also, with a very long menu, people tend not to be able to find what you want them to find and what you want them to access. So think carefully, do you want to do it chronologically, or some people choose to put it into type of content, so you might have an area for lectures, lecture notes, PowerPoint slides, prezzies, whatever you do there, an area for seminars, which could perhaps include recommended readings or videos, things like this. And then in some subjects they lend themselves better to dividing it into specific topics, so you could have a topic 1, topic 2. Obviously you'd give them the name of the topic here, not just call it topic 1. But a very good idea to think about how you actually present the content and make sure that it's in a way that's really clear and consistent. The other thing I just wanted to show you quickly is how do you make your menu a little bit more user-friendly. You can use things called subheaders and dividers. Okay, so for example, if I click on the plus sign and then subheader, I'm going to create an area called Learning Resources and submit. And you'll see, remember, whenever you create anything new on the menu, it'll appear at the bottom. And I'm just going to drag that up to here. So this is the heading for weeks 1 to 5, weeks 6 to 10, weeks 11 to 15, and so on. And that sort of delineates different areas of the menu. You can also use these dividers. So if I click on divider, all that does is create a little line. So you can see this is a new one here, and I can drag that to wherever I want in the menu. So you can see here I've created that line, and it just separates little areas. It can make it more easy for the students to actually find what they're looking for, really. So that's the module menu. The one other thing which is worth knowing is if you hover over each of these areas, you'll see a little arrow comes up to the side, and if you click on the arrow you have three options, one of which is hide link. So it's always a good idea to hide content that you don't want students to see at the time, or that's empty, or maybe work in progress. So if I just click hide, then that link content area will not show. You can test that out just by clicking edit mode off, and now you see the module menu is much shorter because it's only showing the things which I've chosen to show. So really think about what you want to show on your menu, what you want the students to see. If you don't want them to see it yet, then make sure that you hide it. Okay, so don't forget to have a look at our website, which is celtelearning.org, and that will give you some more ideas and information.